The Torah tells us in Parshas Sietzei about the woman of captivity, and there's an interesting connection I noticed over Shabbos, just kind of a Shabbos recap, that Rabbi Nachman talks about the garments of the soul. And so I realized that when it comes to the Torah's instruction of how to deal with woman in captivity, if your heart desires her, is to let her nails grow, you have to shave off her head, and then, while she has all this going on, she still has that beautiful garment on, then you take off the garment. And then the garment is removed and replaced with garments for mourning for 30 days. And so it's funny that they say that in order to create a new habit, it takes, well, there's varying opinions. I've heard as little as I think 14 days and as much as 30 days. But the idea is that within that time frame, you have formed a habit. That's the idea. What is this habit? What do you become aware of? What is a habit to begin with? I'm not going to get into all of that, but in my opinion, I think a habit is creating awareness. Creating awareness and creating commitment to an idea. And so when it becomes to woman of captivity, the man is becoming aware of his Sietzei, and it's supposed to give him time that, wait a minute, he's not allowing this woman to mourn her parents that have been killed. He's allowing this woman to remind him of what he's doing to a living soul, what he's doing to his family, the parental existence, the parental superiority, the parental support for his own children. That's what he should be mourning, and that's what she is there to remind him of. She is that tree in the field, as the Parsha also mentions later on regarding if you find yourself in the field, you shouldn't. Actually, I think this last week's Parsha. You shouldn't chop it down. If it's a fruit tree, you shouldn't chop it down. A woman has the ability to bear fruit. She has the ability to bear fruit, and so you shouldn't be so quick to chop it down. But anyways, what I wanted to share with you today was regarding Rabbi Nachman's garments of the soul, and he talks about how when you're doing mitzvot, it's like clothing your soul, clothing your neshama. And so, as we see, there's the on and off of garments throughout this entire parsha. And there's at least about 7 to 10 mentions of indirectly and directly for garments as well. I don't know if anyone caught that at all. Everything from direct as actual garment, as the Torah will highlight, to something indirectly like tzitzit, where it says you should put on a four-cornered garment. So the tzitzit is kind of like just a secondary aspect to that, but yet it's the primary part of it. Anyway, so what I wanted to share with you was that I learned over Shabbos that when you are doing a mitzvah, it's more than just the act of the mitzvah, okay? There's the beautification of the mitzvah. So let's say it's lulav, right? It's sichos, and you are shaking the lulav, and you're having a good time, and you're liking the shake, and you love the smell of the etrog. Oh, I miss that smell. And it's an awesome experience, right? It's a physical aspect. But there comes a point in time where you have to take that physical element of the mitzvah and then strip it down, quite literally, and then readdress it, or readdress it in a different perspective to find its soul, if you will. Maybe I shouldn't say its soul. Well, no, it's soul. You should strip it to find its soul. You should strip it to hear its soul cry. We'll connect it better like that. You should strip it to connect to its soul cry. What is its soul cry? What is the mitzvah to you? Because your soul is crying out to do the mitzvah, but what is the mitzvah to you? Each person has a different chelech and a mitzvah. And we're not all doing the same mitzvah. One of the most extraordinary things that I learned recently of my Rebbe was that we're not all serving the same God. We're not all praying to the same God. What a concept, right? So I think the same goes for the mitzvah. It's a very individualized experience. It takes us all collectively doing the same thing, getting different results. maybe there's some discrepancies with what I just said, but whatever. So anyway, so as far as Parshas Sietzei, we learn that in connection with Rabbi Nachman's garments of the soul, that one needs to see the beauty of a mitzvah, but also see its soul cry, and find out how to connect with that, and let it awaken you, let it remind you of a greater awareness. Let it connect you to your forefathers. Again, like she cries for the death of her family, particularly her parents. Let your neshama find its cry within a mitzvah, whether it be in Netilat Yadayim or in saying the bracha of Achala. You need to connect. My Rabbi Hoffman mentioned that when you are doing a mitzvah and you're saying the blessed are you, the Baruch Atah Hashem, you are inviting Hashem to join you in the mitzvah. In fact, actually, he's right there with you. As soon as you say those three words, you've just invited him there. He's sitting there right in front of you, right there next to you. And it's a very emotional experience when I first learned that. And I actually would start crying, almost to tears. Well, obviously, that's what crying is. I would start kind of bawling a little bit, because like, wow, not so much that Hashem's there, but like the whole atmosphere changed, because I guess I invited him. And it wasn't just the same mundane saying the bracha. It was just like, you're here. One of the ways to connect with your soul's cry with a mitzvah is to do actions with it. What does that mean? Well, yes, we do actions, and we do it until you die, right? We will. Some will raise their hands, or just the action of doing it. Like it's an active thing. It's not like saying a bracha over seeing lightning or hearing thunder, right? These are just things that just automatically come to us. But until you're dying, you have to wash your hands, right? Well, the way to connect to the mitzvah would be to realize that you're saying Netilat Yadayim, which means the raising of hands, right? So raise your hands, but then stop. Don't just raise your hands really quickly. Stop, raise your hands, and think. Ask the question. It's one of the greatest ways that you can. Saying "I don't know" leads you to the front of your consciousness, according to Rabbi Daniel Katz. So, when you ask a question, you are awakening your soul cry. You're saying, "Where are you, Ayecha?" Right? And so, when you're asked that question, you're saying, "How am I raising my hands? How am I elevating my hands for avodas Hashem, for serving Hashem? How am I uplifting the ability to use these hands to do good, to serve Hashem, to serve others, and to better this world?" And it's a very powerful experience, because again, you're trying to awaken that consciousness. You're trying to awaken that. You're trying to get rid of that savage, beastly, murderous environment that war creates, and awaken who you are. Remind yourself, this is a fruit-bearing tree. I have to do better than that. So. Yeah. Good Shabbos.